Letting go is a fundamental concept in Buddhism, intricately woven into the fabric of its teachings and practices. At its core, letting go refers to the release of attachments and desires that bind individuals to the cycle of suffering, known as samsara. This process is not about abandoning responsibilities or relationships, but rather about cultivating a mindset that allows for a deeper understanding of the transient nature of existence. In Buddhism, letting go is seen as a pathway to inner peace and enlightenment, enabling practitioners to experience life with greater clarity and equanimity. The journey of letting go begins with an acknowledgement of the pervasive nature of attachment in human life. Attachments can take many forms, including material possessions, relationships, ideas, and even self-identity. These attachments often lead to clinging and craving, which are sources of suffering according to Buddhist philosophy. By learning to let go, individuals can break free from these chains and move towards a state of liberation. Buddhism offers various techniques and practices designed to help individuals let go of their attachments. These include mindfulness meditation, ethical living, and the cultivation of wisdom. Through these practices, one learns to observe thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them, thereby fostering a sense of detachment and inner freedom. The teachings emphasize that letting go is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice that requires patience, effort, and compassion towards oneself. In essence, letting go in Buddhism is about embracing impermanence and recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. It encourages a shift from a self-centered perspective to one that is more expansive and inclusive. By letting go of attachments, individuals can open themselves up to new possibilities and experiences, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and harmonious life. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment is considered one of the primary sources of human suffering. The concept of attachment, or tanha in Pali, translates to craving or desire. It encompasses not only the longing for material possessions, but also the clinging to ideas, relationships, and even one's own identity. According to Buddhism, these attachments bind individuals to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, perpetuating a state of dissatisfaction and suffering, dukkha. Attachment is often categorized into three types: kamatana, sensual craving; bhavatana, craving for existence; and vibhavatana, craving for non-existence. Kamatana refers to the desire for sensory pleasures such as food, wealth, and physical comfort. Bhavatana is the attachment to becoming or existence itself, including aspirations for status, power, or even spiritual achievements. Vibhavatana is the craving for non-existence or self-annihilation, often manifesting as a desire to escape from painful experiences or realities. Buddhist teachings emphasize that attachment arises from ignorance, avijja, about the true nature of reality. This ignorance leads individuals to perceive impermanent phenomena as permanent and to seek lasting satisfaction in transient things. The Buddha taught that everything in existence is marked by three characteristics: impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. By failing to recognize these truths, people develop attachments that inevitably lead to disappointment and suffering. The process of letting go of attachments involves cultivating wisdom, panna, and understanding the nature of reality as it truly is. This wisdom helps individuals see through the illusions created by their desires and understand that clinging to impermanent things can never bring lasting happiness. Instead, true liberation comes from recognizing the interconnectedness and transient nature of all phenomena. In summary, attachment in Buddhist philosophy is seen as a fundamental cause of human suffering. It arises from ignorance about the true nature of reality and manifests in various forms of craving. By developing wisdom and understanding the impermanent and interdependent nature of all things, individuals can begin to release their attachments and move towards a state of greater peace and liberation. The Four Noble Truths form the cornerstone of Buddhist teachings and provide a comprehensive framework for understanding and addressing the root causes of human suffering. The first noble truth, often translated as "life is suffering," dukkha, acknowledges that suffering is an inherent part of existence. This suffering is not limited to physical pain, but extends to emotional and psychological distress, encompassing the full range of human experiences from birth to death. The second noble truth identifies the origin of suffering, which is primarily attachment, tanha. Attachment, in this context, refers to the craving and clinging to transient things and experiences, whether they are material possessions, relationships, or even ideas and beliefs. This craving leads to a cycle of desire and dissatisfaction, perpetuating suffering. The third noble truth offers hope by asserting that it is possible to end suffering by relinquishing attachment. This cessation of suffering, nirodha, is achieved through the letting go of desires and cravings that bind individuals to the cycle of rebirth and suffering. It suggests that by understanding the nature of attachment and actively working to release it, one can attain a state of liberation or nirvana. The fourth noble truth provides the practical path to achieve this liberation through the Eightfold Path. This path includes right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each aspect of the Eightfold Path serves as a guide for ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom, all aimed at reducing attachment and ultimately ending suffering. In essence, the Four Noble Truths collectively address the problem of attachment by first recognizing its role in human suffering and then offering a clear pathway to overcome it. By internalizing these truths and diligently practicing the Eightfold Path, individuals can gradually diminish their attachments and move towards a state of inner peace and freedom from suffering. In Buddhism, the concept of impermanence, or anicca, is fundamental to understanding the nature of existence and the process of letting go. Impermanence teaches that all conditioned phenomena are transient, arising and passing away in a continuous flow. This realization is crucial for releasing attachments because it underscores the futility of clinging to things that are inherently unstable and ever-changing. By recognizing that everything we experience, whether it be material possessions, relationships, emotions, or even our own bodies, is subject to change, we can begin to loosen our grip on these attachments. The Buddha emphasized that suffering arises from our desire for permanence in a world that is inherently impermanent. When we cling to things as if they will last forever, we set ourselves up for disappointment and suffering when they inevitably change or disappear. Understanding anicca helps us see the true nature of reality and encourages us to adopt a more flexible and accepting attitude towards life's fluctuations. This acceptance is not about resignation, but about cultivating a wise perspective that allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with equanimity. Practicing mindfulness can deepen our awareness of impermanence. By paying close attention to our thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they arise and pass away, we can observe the transient nature of our experiences firsthand. This direct observation helps reinforce the understanding of anicca and supports the process of letting go. For instance, when we notice a pleasant sensation or a joyful moment, we can appreciate it fully without becoming attached, knowing that it too will pass. Similarly, when we encounter pain or discomfort, recognizing its impermanent nature can help us endure it with greater patience and less resistance. Moreover, reflecting on impermanence can foster a sense of gratitude and presence. When we understand that every moment is fleeting, we may become more inclined to cherish each experience without clinging to it. This shift in perspective can transform our relationship with the world around us, allowing us to engage more fully with life while maintaining a sense of inner freedom. In summary, the role of impermanence in letting go is pivotal in Buddhist practice. By deeply understanding and accepting anicca, we can release our attachments and reduce our suffering. This insight into the transient nature of all things encourages us to live more mindfully and compassionately, embracing each moment as it comes while remaining unattached to its passing. The concept of non-self, or anatta, is one of the most profound and challenging teachings in Buddhism. It fundamentally asserts that there is no permanent, unchanging self or soul within living beings. This teaching stands in stark contrast to many other spiritual and philosophical traditions that posit the existence of an eternal self or soul. In Buddhism, the belief in a permanent self is seen as a primary source of attachment and suffering. By understanding and internalizing the concept of anatta, practitioners can begin to loosen their attachments and move towards a state of greater freedom and peace. Anatta is closely linked with the other two marks of existence: impermanence, anicca, and suffering, dukkha. Together, these three characteristics describe the nature of all phenomena. The realization that there is no enduring self helps to dismantle the illusion of separateness and ego, which are often at the root of our attachments. When we cling to the idea of a permanent self, we tend to accumulate desires, aversions, and fears that revolve around protecting and enhancing this self. This clinging leads to a cycle of suffering as we constantly strive to satisfy an insatiable ego. Detachment in Buddhism does not mean indifference or apathy. Rather, it signifies a balanced state where one is not overly attached to or repelled by experiences, emotions, or material possessions. By embracing anatta, practitioners learn to see through the illusion of a fixed self and recognize the fluid, interconnected nature of existence. This understanding fosters a sense of equanimity and reduces the compulsive need to cling to transient things. The practice of detachment through the lens of anatta involves observing thoughts, feelings, and sensations without identifying with them. For instance, instead of thinking, "I am angry," one might observe, "There is anger." This subtle shift in perspective helps to create a space between the observer and the observed, reducing the grip of attachment. Over time, this practice can lead to a deeper realization that what we consider to be self is merely a collection of changing phenomena, thoughts, emotions, sensations, arising and passing away. Moreover, understanding anatta can transform our relationships with others. When we let go of the notion of a separate self, we become more compassionate and empathetic. We see others not as isolated entities, but as interconnected beings sharing the same fundamental nature. This shift can lead to more harmonious relationships and a greater sense of unity with all life. In summary, the concept of non-self, anatta, is a powerful tool for cultivating detachment in Buddhism. By recognizing that there is no permanent self to cling to, practitioners can begin to release their attachments and experience greater freedom from suffering. This understanding not only transforms one's inner life, but also enhances one's relationships with others, fostering a sense of interconnectedness and compassion. Mindfulness, or sati in Pali, is a fundamental practice in Buddhism that serves as a powerful tool for releasing attachments. At its core, mindfulness involves maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and the surrounding environment. This heightened state of awareness allows individuals to observe their experiences without becoming entangled in them. By practicing mindfulness, one can develop a deeper understanding of the transient nature of all phenomena, which is crucial for letting go of attachments. When we are mindful, we create a space between ourselves and our experiences. This space allows us to observe our attachments without being overwhelmed by them. For instance, when we feel anger or desire, mindfulness helps us recognize these emotions as temporary states rather than intrinsic parts of our identity. By observing these emotions without judgment or attachment, we can see them for what they truly are: fleeting and impermanent. This realization weakens the grip that such emotions have on us, making it easier to let them go. Moreover, mindfulness encourages a non-reactive stance towards our experiences. Instead of immediately reacting to a pleasant or unpleasant stimulus, mindfulness teaches us to pause and reflect. This pause is crucial because it disrupts the automatic patterns of attachment and aversion that often govern our behavior. By breaking these patterns, we can respond to situations more skillfully and with greater equanimity. Mindfulness also plays a significant role in understanding the nature of craving and clinging. Through mindful observation, we can identify the subtle ways in which we cling to pleasurable experiences and resist unpleasant ones. This awareness is the first step towards releasing these attachments. By continually practicing mindfulness, we train our minds to remain balanced and centered, regardless of external circumstances. In addition to individual practice, mindfulness can be cultivated through various meditation techniques such as vipassana, insight meditation, and anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. These practices help deepen our awareness and strengthen our ability to remain present. Over time, this sustained practice of mindfulness leads to greater clarity and insight into the nature of reality, further aiding in the process of letting go. Ultimately, Mindfulness is not just a tool, but a way of being that permeates every aspect of our lives. It transforms how we interact with the world and ourselves. By embracing mindfulness, we cultivate a mind that is free from the chains of attachment and aversion, allowing us to experience true peace and liberation. Meditation practices play a crucial role in the Buddhist path to letting go of attachments. These practices are designed to cultivate awareness, equanimity, and insight, which are essential for understanding and releasing the clinging that causes suffering. One of the most fundamental meditation techniques in Buddhism is vipassana, or insight meditation. This practice involves observing the breath and bodily sensations with a non-judgmental awareness. By doing so, practitioners can develop a deeper understanding of the impermanent and interdependent nature of all phenomena, which helps in loosening the grip of attachment. Another significant meditation practice is metta bhavana, or loving-kindness meditation. This technique involves generating feelings of unconditional love and compassion towards oneself and others. By cultivating these positive emotions, individuals can counteract the negative mental states associated with attachment, such as greed, jealousy, and resentment. Loving-kindness meditation encourages an open-hearted approach to life, fostering a sense of interconnectedness that diminishes the need for possessiveness. Mindfulness meditation, or sati, is also integral to letting go. This practice emphasizes being fully present in the moment without clinging to past experiences or future anxieties. Through mindfulness, practitioners learn to observe their thoughts and emotions as they arise and pass away, recognizing their transient nature. This awareness helps in breaking the habitual patterns of attachment by allowing individuals to respond to situations with greater clarity and wisdom, rather than reacting out of conditioned responses. Additionally, there is the practice of anapanasati, or mindfulness of breathing. This meditation focuses on the breath as an anchor to stabilize the mind. By concentrating on the breath, practitioners can calm their mental chatter and create a space for introspection. This calmness provides a fertile ground for insight into the nature of attachment and the suffering it brings. As one becomes more adept at this practice, it becomes easier to let go of attachments that no longer serve one's well-being. Zen meditation, or zazen, is another powerful technique for letting go. In zazen, practitioners sit in a specific posture and focus on their breath while allowing thoughts to come and go without attachment. The aim is to experience a state of just sitting, where one is fully present without striving or clinging to any particular outcome. This practice helps in cultivating a mind that is free from attachments and aversions, leading to greater inner peace. Lastly, guided meditations specifically designed for letting go can be highly effective. These meditations often involve visualizations where individuals imagine releasing their attachments into a vast expanse or transforming them into something beneficial. Such guided practices can provide a structured approach to working through deeply ingrained attachments and fostering a sense of liberation. In summary, meditation practices in Buddhism offer various pathways for letting go of attachments. Whether through insight meditation, loving-kindness practices, mindfulness techniques, or specific guided meditations, these practices help individuals cultivate a deeper understanding of impermanence and non-self. By integrating these meditative techniques into daily life, one can gradually release the bonds of attachment and move towards greater freedom and peace. The practice of loving-kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna, holds a central place in Buddhist teachings and serves as a powerful tool for releasing attachments. Metta, often translated as loving-kindness or benevolence, involves the cultivation of an unconditional and all-encompassing love towards oneself and others. This practice encourages individuals to develop a heart that is free from ill will, anger, and resentment. By fostering metta, one learns to view all beings with kindness and goodwill, which naturally reduces the tendency to cling to negative emotions and harmful attachments. Compassion, or karuna, complements metta by focusing on the alleviation of suffering in oneself and others. It is the empathetic concern for the pain and difficulties experienced by all sentient beings. When practicing karuna, one becomes more attuned to the interconnectedness of life and the shared experience of suffering. This awareness fosters a sense of solidarity and reduces the egoistic tendencies that often lead to attachment. By developing compassion, individuals learn to respond to suffering with care and understanding, rather than aversion or indifference. Both metta and karuna are cultivated through specific meditation practices. In metta meditation, practitioners typically begin by generating feelings of loving kindness towards themselves, then gradually extend these feelings outward to include loved ones, acquaintances, strangers, and even those with whom they have conflicts. This progressive expansion helps break down barriers of separation and fosters a sense of universal love. Similarly, karuna meditation involves visualizing the suffering of others and wishing for their relief from pain. This practice deepens one's empathy and reinforces the commitment to act with compassion in daily life. The benefits of practicing metta and karuna are manifold. These practices not only help in reducing personal attachments, but also contribute to a more harmonious and compassionate society. As individuals become less attached to their own desires and grievances, they are better able to connect with others on a deeper level. This shift in perspective can lead to more meaningful relationships and a greater sense of inner peace. Moreover, metta and karuna serve as antidotes to negative mental states such as anger, jealousy, and hatred. By consistently cultivating loving kindness and compassion, one gradually transforms these destructive emotions into positive qualities that support spiritual growth. This transformation is essential for achieving the ultimate goal of Buddhism, liberation from suffering. In summary, the practice of loving kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna, is integral to the Buddhist path of letting go. These practices help dissolve attachments by fostering an attitude of unconditional love and empathetic concern for all beings. Through regular meditation and mindful application in daily life, individuals can cultivate a heart that is open, compassionate, and free from the bonds of attachment. The Eightfold Path, a core teaching in Buddhism, serves as a practical guide to ethical and mental development, with the goal of freeing individuals from attachments and ultimately achieving enlightenment. This path is divided into 8 interconnected aspects: right understanding, right intent, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each aspect plays a crucial role in reducing attachments by fostering wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Right understanding involves comprehending the true nature of reality, particularly the Four Noble Truths. By understanding that attachment leads to suffering and that everything is impermanent, individuals can begin to see the futility of clinging to transient things. This wisdom lays the foundation for letting go of attachments. Right intent focuses on cultivating thoughts and intentions that are free from desire, ill will, and harmfulness. By nurturing intentions rooted in renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness, practitioners can weaken the grip of attachment on their minds. This shift in intention helps in developing a mindset that is more inclined towards letting go rather than holding on. Right speech encourages individuals to engage in truthful, harmonious, and kind communication. By avoiding falsehoods, divisive speech, harsh words, and idle chatter, one can reduce the attachment to ego-driven communication and foster more meaningful interactions. This practice helps in letting go of the need for validation and approval from others. Right action involves ethical conduct through actions that do not harm others. By adhering to principles such as nonviolence, honesty, and respect for others' property and relationships, individuals can reduce attachments to harmful behaviors and cultivate a sense of moral integrity. This ethical foundation supports the process of letting go by promoting actions that are not driven by selfish desires. Right livelihood encourages earning a living in ways that do not cause harm or suffering to others. By choosing professions that align with ethical principles, individuals can avoid attachments to wealth and status gained through unethical means. This practice fosters a sense of contentment and reduces the craving for material possessions. Right effort involves making a conscious effort to cultivate wholesome qualities and abandon unwholesome ones. By diligently working towards positive mental states, such as compassion, patience, and mindfulness, while letting go of negative states like greed, hatred, and delusion, practitioners can weaken attachments that arise from unwholesome thoughts and behaviors. Right mindfulness emphasizes being fully present in each moment with awareness and clarity. By practicing mindfulness in daily activities and meditation, individuals can observe their thoughts and emotions without attachment or aversion. This heightened awareness allows for a deeper understanding of the impermanent nature of experiences and aids in letting go of clinging to them. Right concentration involves developing deep states of meditative absorption, jhanas, that lead to profound inner peace and clarity. Through concentrated meditation practices, individuals can experience states of mind free from distractions and attachments. This mental discipline helps in breaking the habitual patterns of attachment by providing direct insight into the nature of reality. Together, these 8 aspects of the path work synergistically to reduce attachments by promoting wisdom, ethical behavior, and mental discipline. By diligently practicing the Eightfold Path, individuals can gradually loosen the bonds of attachment that cause suffering and move closer to achieving liberation from the cycle of birth and death, samsara. The path provides practical tools for transforming one's life in ways that lead to greater freedom from attachments and ultimately to enlightenment. Cultivating detachment in Buddhism involves a series of practical techniques that can be integrated into daily life to help individuals release their attachments and achieve a state of inner peace. One of the foundational practices is mindfulness, which encourages individuals to observe their thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. By maintaining a mindful awareness, one can recognize the transient nature of desires and aversions, allowing them to pass without clinging. Another effective technique is meditation, particularly practices such as vipassana, insight meditation, and samatha, calm abiding meditation. Vipassana helps practitioners gain deep insights into the nature of reality, including the impermanence of all phenomena, while samatha cultivates a tranquil mind that is less prone to grasping. Regular meditation sessions can create a mental space where attachments naturally loosen their grip. Reflecting on the principles of impermanence, anicca, and non-self, anatta, also aids in detachment. By contemplating that everything is subject to change and that there is no permanent self to cling to, one can gradually reduce the tendency to hold on to people, objects, or experiences. This reflection can be supported by studying Buddhist texts and teachings that emphasize these concepts. Engaging in acts of generosity, dana, is another practical approach. By giving freely without expecting anything in return, individuals practice letting go of their attachment to material possessions and cultivate a sense of abundance and interconnectedness. This practice not only benefits others, but also helps the giver develop a more detached and compassionate outlook. Simplifying one's lifestyle can further support the cultivation of detachment. Reducing unnecessary possessions, commitments, and distractions allows for a focus on what truly matters and diminishes the craving for more. This simplicity fosters contentment and reduces the mental clutter that often fuels attachment. Lastly, practicing loving-kindness, metta, and compassion karuna towards oneself and others can transform attachment into a more selfless form of love. By wishing for the well-being and happiness of all beings without seeking personal gain, one can develop a heart that is open yet unattached. These practical techniques, when consistently applied, can lead to a profound shift in how one relates to the world. Through mindfulness, meditation, reflection, generosity, simplicity, and loving-kindness, individuals can cultivate a state of detachment that brings greater freedom and peace. Renunciation, or nekkhamma in Pali, holds a significant place in Buddhist practice as it embodies the essence of letting go. In the context of Buddhism, renunciation is not merely about giving up material possessions or withdrawing from societal life. It is a profound inner transformation that involves relinquishing attachments and desires that bind one to the cycle of suffering, samsara. The importance of renunciation lies in its ability to create space for spiritual growth and deeper understanding. Renunciation begins with the recognition that clinging to transient pleasures and material wealth leads to dissatisfaction and suffering. This understanding is rooted in the Buddha's teachings on impermanence, anicca, and the nature of desire, tanha. By practicing renunciation, individuals learn to detach from these fleeting experiences and cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment. This does not mean rejecting life's pleasures outright, but rather approaching them with a balanced mind, free from excessive craving and aversion. The practice of renunciation is closely linked to the development of wisdom, panna, and ethical conduct, sila. It encourages practitioners to lead a life guided by moral principles and mindfulness, which in turn fosters a deeper awareness of the interconnectedness of all beings. This heightened awareness helps individuals to see beyond their own desires and consider the well-being of others, promoting compassion, karuna, and loving kindness, metta. In monastic life, renunciation is more pronounced as monks and nuns take vows to live simply, foregoing personal possessions and dedicating themselves entirely to spiritual practice. However, lay practitioners can also embrace the spirit of renunciation by simplifying their lives, reducing unnecessary distractions, and focusing on what truly matters. This can involve practices such as mindful consumption, voluntary simplicity, and dedicating time to meditation and self-reflection. Renunciation also plays a crucial role in breaking the cycle of rebirth. According to Buddhist teachings, attachment to worldly things perpetuates samsara. By letting go of these attachments through renunciation, one can progress towards enlightenment, nibbana, where the cycle of birth and death ceases. This ultimate goal underscores the transformative power of renunciation in achieving liberation from suffering. In summary, renunciation is a vital aspect of Buddhist practice that facilitates the letting go of attachments and desires. It nurtures inner peace, ethical living, compassion for others, and ultimately leads towards spiritual liberation. Whether through monastic vows or lay practices, embracing renunciation allows individuals to cultivate a life of simplicity, mindfulness, and profound inner freedom. Buddhist texts are replete with stories and case studies that illustrate the profound impact of letting go and releasing attachments. One of the most well-known stories is that of Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who later became the Buddha. Born into a life of luxury, Siddhartha was shielded from the harsh realities of life by his father. However, upon encountering old age, sickness, and death during his excursions outside the palace, he realized the impermanence and suffering inherent in worldly existence. This realization led him to renounce his royal life and embark on a spiritual quest for enlightenment. His journey is a powerful testament to the transformative power of letting go of material attachments and societal expectations. Another illustrative story is that of Venerable Puna, a disciple of the Buddha. Puna was sent to a remote region where people were known to be violent and hostile. When asked by the Buddha how he would respond if the people there insulted or attacked him, Puna calmly replied that he would consider it a blessing if they only insulted him and did not physically harm him. This story highlights the depth of Puna's detachment from ego and his unwavering commitment to compassion and understanding, even in the face of potential danger. The story of Kisagotami offers another poignant example. Kisagotami was a young woman who lost her only child and was overwhelmed with grief. In her desperation, she sought help from the Buddha, who instructed her to find a mustard seed from a household that had not experienced death. As she went from house to house, she realized that death and suffering were universal experiences. This realization helped her let go of her personal grief and develop a deeper understanding of impermanence and interconnectedness. The tale of Angulimala is also significant in illustrating the power of letting go. Angulimala was a feared bandit who had killed many people. When he encountered the Buddha, he intended to kill him as well. However, after a profound interaction with the Buddha, Angulimala experienced a deep transformation and renounced his violent ways. He became a monk and devoted his life to spiritual practice, demonstrating that even those with deeply ingrained negative habits can change through the practice of letting go. These stories from Buddhist texts serve as powerful examples of how individuals can transform their lives by releasing attachments and embracing the principles of impermanence, non-self, and compassion. They offer timeless lessons on the importance of letting go for personal growth and spiritual development. One common misconception about letting go in Buddhism is that it implies a form of emotional detachment that leads to apathy or indifference. Many people mistakenly believe that to let go means to become cold and unfeeling, severing all emotional ties and connections. However, this is far from the truth. In Buddhism, letting go is about releasing unhealthy attachments and clinging, not about abandoning love, compassion, or meaningful relationships. It encourages a balanced approach where one can still care deeply for others without becoming overly attached or dependent on them for happiness. Another misconception is that letting go requires one to renounce all worldly possessions and live an ascetic life. While renunciation is an important practice for monks and nuns, lay practitioners are not required to give up all their material belongings. Instead, they are encouraged to cultivate a mindset of non-attachment, where they can enjoy and appreciate what they have without becoming enslaved by their desires or possessions. This means recognizing the impermanent nature of material goods and understanding that true contentment comes from within rather than from external sources. Some people also believe that letting go means giving up on goals, ambitions, or personal growth. They think that by practicing detachment, they must abandon their aspirations and resign themselves to a passive existence. In reality, Buddhism teaches that one can pursue goals and strive for personal development while maintaining a sense of detachment from the outcomes. This involves doing one's best in any endeavor without becoming overly fixated on success or failure. By focusing on the process rather than the result, individuals can find greater peace and satisfaction in their efforts. A further misconception is that letting go is a one-time event rather than an ongoing practice. Many assume that once they have let go of something, they will never struggle with attachment again. However, letting go is a continuous process that requires mindfulness and effort. Attachments can resurface and new ones can form, so it is essential to remain vigilant and practice letting go regularly. This ongoing effort helps to cultivate a more profound sense of freedom and inner peace over time. Lastly, there is a misunderstanding that letting go means suppressing or denying one's emotions. Some people think that in order to let go, they must push away their feelings or pretend they do not exist. On the contrary, Buddhism encourages acknowledging and fully experiencing emotions without becoming entangled in them. By observing emotions with mindfulness and equanimity, individuals can understand their transient nature and allow them to pass without clinging or aversion. This mindful approach leads to a healthier relationship with one's emotional life. In summary, letting go in Buddhism is often misunderstood as emotional detachment, renunciation of all possessions, abandonment of goals, a one-time event, or suppression of emotions. In reality, it is about cultivating non-attachment while maintaining compassion and meaningful connections, enjoying material goods without being enslaved by them, pursuing goals with a balanced mindset, practicing continuous mindfulness, and acknowledging emotions without becoming entangled in them. These clarifications help to provide a more accurate understanding of what it truly means to let go in the context of Buddhist practice. In today's fast-paced and often stressful world, the ancient Buddhist techniques for letting go of attachments have found new relevance and application. Modern life, with its constant demands and distractions, can lead to heightened levels of stress, anxiety, and a sense of being overwhelmed. Buddhist practices offer practical tools to navigate these challenges by fostering a mindset of detachment and mindfulness. One of the most widely adopted Buddhist techniques in contemporary settings is mindfulness meditation. This practice involves paying close attention to the present moment without judgment. By focusing on the here and now, individuals can reduce their preoccupation with past regrets or future anxieties. Mindfulness has been integrated into various therapeutic approaches, such as mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, which have been shown to alleviate symptoms of depression, anxiety, and chronic pain. Another modern application is the use of loving-kindness meditation, metta, to cultivate compassion and emotional resilience. In a world where social media and digital interactions can sometimes lead to feelings of isolation or hostility, practicing loving kindness helps individuals develop a sense of connection and empathy towards others. This practice not only improves interpersonal relationships, but also enhances one's own emotional well-being. The principle of impermanence, anicca, is also highly relevant in contemporary life. Recognizing that all experiences, emotions, and situations are transient can help individuals cope with change and loss more effectively. This understanding encourages a flexible mindset that is better equipped to handle life's inevitable ups and downs. In professional settings, this can translate to improved adaptability and reduced burnout. Non-self, anatta, is another concept that has found resonance in modern psychology. The idea that there is no permanent, unchanging self can help individuals break free from rigid self-identities that limit personal growth. By understanding that the self is a dynamic and evolving construct, people can become more open to change and self-improvement. Practical techniques for cultivating detachment are also being embraced in minimalist lifestyles and decluttering movements. The practice of renunciation, nekkhamma, encourages letting go of material possessions and simplifying one's life. This not only reduces physical clutter, but also mental clutter, leading to greater clarity and focus. Incorporating these Buddhist techniques into daily life does not require one to be a practicing Buddhist. The universal principles of mindfulness, compassion, impermanence, non-self, and renunciation can be adapted to suit individual needs and circumstances. Whether through formal meditation practices or simple daily habits like mindful breathing or expressing gratitude, these techniques offer valuable tools for achieving greater peace and balance in the modern world. As we continue to navigate the complexities of contemporary life, the timeless wisdom of Buddhism provides a rich source of guidance for letting go of attachments and finding inner tranquility. By integrating these ancient practices into our daily routines, we can cultivate a more mindful, compassionate, and resilient approach to living. In conclusion, the art of letting go in Buddhism is a profound practice that encompasses various teachings and techniques aimed at releasing attachments and achieving a state of inner peace. The journey begins with understanding the nature of attachment through the lens of Buddhist philosophy, particularly the Four Noble Truths, which elucidate the cause of suffering and the path to its cessation. Recognizing the impermanent nature of all things, anicca, and the concept of non-self, anatta, further aids in loosening our grip on material and emotional attachments. Mindfulness, sati, serves as a crucial tool in this process, allowing practitioners to observe their thoughts and feelings without clinging to them. Meditation practices, including those focused on mindfulness and loving kindness, metta, provide practical methods for cultivating a detached yet compassionate outlook on life. The Eightfold Path offers a comprehensive framework for ethical living and mental discipline, which are essential for reducing attachments. Practical techniques such as renunciation, nekkhamma, and the cultivation of loving kindness and compassion help to foster a mindset of detachment while maintaining empathy and care for others. Case studies and stories from Buddhist texts illustrate the transformative power of these practices, offering inspiration and guidance. Addressing common misconceptions about letting go in Buddhism clarifies that detachment does not mean indifference, but rather a balanced approach to life, free from excessive clinging. Modern applications of these ancient techniques demonstrate their relevance and effectiveness in contemporary settings, providing valuable tools for managing stress, anxiety, and other challenges. Ultimately, the practice of letting go in Buddhism is not about rejecting life, but embracing it fully with an open heart and mind. It is about finding freedom from the chains of attachment and experiencing true liberation. As we integrate these teachings into our daily lives, we move closer to achieving a state of equanimity and inner peace, embodying the essence of Buddhist wisdom in our journey towards enlightenment. To keep expanding your spiritual awareness, click one of the videos on screen now.